See Red Nation, Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Hey, Chicago. We got Bulls basketball tomorrow, bro. The NBA starts tonight, but we got Bulls basketball tomorrow, y'all. Let's get hype. Let's get hype. We got Bulls basketball starting tomorrow. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking it with us, man. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. We're the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So get in tune with us, man. Here to finally give AK their flowers, to give Acme their flowers. Can't forget the man, Mark Eversley. We got to evaluate the 2021-2022 Chicago Bulls roster. Let's get into it. Now, normally, I would do this. Bulls 200, Pistons 50. Yeah, opening game. Shout out to Bulls for life on here, man. Gotta love that. Listen, normally I'd have done this as a pre-recorded video, right? Best way to do it, get the most views. But taking care of my daughter. So if y'all see me just out here, randomly duck off to drop something off, you know what I'm saying? She down here. Say what up. Shout out to her. Let's get into this, man. Because when we're talking about this Bulls team, when we're talking about what Chicago has coming, starting tomorrow, seriously, we're talking about a starting lineup that I think is going to be the best starting lineup the Bulls have had since the championship Bulls. And I know that's tough to say, right? Because the Derrick Rose Bulls are our favorite Bulls, but when we look at those teams, we're really seeing a starting lineup of guys that are nice and Derrick. Guys that absolutely had good careers. Guys that, listen, Jimmy Butler ended up having probably the best career out of all of them. But guys that were very much above average players. We've kind of tried to figure out, like, not greats, but very good. But this team here, you're talking about multiple pieces that can go out and score 25 any given day, any given night. So let's get into this breakdown, man. Let's start off with the man, the myth, the legend. And I want to hear you guys break down on it as well, man. I want to hear what you guys think these players are going to do for the Bulls this year. Let's start it off with Lonzo Ball. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the player himself. He's a guy that comes in, we're talking about 14 points a game, just about 5 rebounds a game for his career, averaging 5.7 assists. Now, Lonzo, for me, is the one player that I'll say gives the Chicago Bulls, he's the key, right? He's the key. Zach's going to come out and he's going to put up his 28 to 30 points a night. Vucevic's going to come out, he's going to put up 25. Demar's going to come out, he's going to be able to kill the mid-range, give you that 18 to 20 points a night. Lonzo's the key to all of that, though. Lonzo's the thing that gets all of that going. He's the thing that gets all of that together. And so, to me, I see Lonzo Ball having the biggest uptick that the Chicago Bulls are going to have going into this season. I see him being a not only most improved candidate, but a triple-double candidate every night, a Russell Westbrook type player, minus the going after the 30, because I think that he's going to have so many more scoring opportunities. And because of his time in New Orleans, he actually learned how to be a scorer. We've seen him shoot it well in the preseason. We've seen him shoot it well, not only just from 3, but also from the mid-range, getting that float game going, really being able to attack the bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that Lonzo actually can do for this Chicago Bulls team. And I think that he's going to be, like you said right here, shout out to Javen. I think, to me, Lonzo's the guy that could be a key for most improved player. He's that guy you got to look for night in and night out to be the key for the Bulls to be successful here. If I'm predicting what he's going to do, uptick or downtick, I think scoring wise, we're talking about a player that absolutely could get his scoring up to 18 to 20 points a game. I think I said Lonzo's going to have one of those seasons where he's going to have 20 to 22 points a night. 20 to 22 points a night. I see 7 to 10 rebounds a night for him at a minimum. Definitely leaning towards the higher part on that. I'm sorry. On the rebounding tip, definitely leaning towards the 7 on that, but possibly higher because this Bulls team is going to get a lot of shots up. They want to move quickly. And then assists per game. I mean, I don't think there's a way that Lonzo doesn't average 10 assists a game this season. I honestly don't. I don't think that there's a formula. I don't think that there's anything out there that keeps Lonzo Ball from averaging 10 assists a game this season. I think that the Chicago Bulls team, with him at the helm, is absolutely moving in the right position. And so, look, let's get on to the next guy, man. The next guy, DeMar DeRozan. He's somebody who, to me, a lot of people looked at DeMar as the and if you were a Bulls fan that was on board with DeMar or not on board with DeMar, let me know in the chat as well. Shout out to Matty Matt in the chat. Shout out to you, my boy. Um, because right now DeMar averaging 21 points a game, 4 rebounds, 6 assists a game. We saw a little bit of a downtick in his scoring out in San Antonio. So a lot of people were like, well, DeMar fell off the face of the earth. DeMar's not on the map for me anymore. DeMar's not a guy for me. So a lot of Bulls fans were upset by the money DeMar got. They were upset by the fact that the Bulls had brought DeMar in because they're like, he's not that guy anymore. But what I want people to understand with DeMar DeRozan is 21 points a game for your second, or actually, let me take that back. Third scorer on this team, because you're probably giving Vooch the second, right? Third scorer on this team. 21 points a game for your third scorer on this team is what the Bulls need. This is why I want to give AK their flowers. This is what I think people are missing. I don't need DeMar DeRozan to come in and be the Chicago Bull or the player that he was in Toronto. I don't need him to be 25 a night. I don't need DeMar to come in and be 20 a night, if we're being honest. I need DeMar to come in and be 18 a night at a minimum. Because I think that the Chicago Bulls are going to be in such a position of being able to get the ball up, being able to score quickly, being able to move the ball consistently, that I just believe that DeMar is going to be one of those players that when you look at him night in and night out, you're like, man, Zach's having an off night. Somebody else has to step up. DeMar can do that. Zach's having a tough time getting it going tonight. Somebody else has to step up. DeMar can do that. That's where I think a lot of people missed the tip on DeMar. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people looked at DeMar coming into Chicago and saying, hey, you got to be the number one guy. You got to be, and it's not. He's not even the number two guy on this team. DeMar is more scoring, and that's all he's going to be. And he's a key piece to what the Bulls want to do, because on those nights that maybe Zach does have a bad shooting night. We saw that last season. I think they'll be far and few between in this season. I just think the guys coming back from the Olympics just play different. Even DeMar said that. I think they're going to be far and few between, but there are going to be those nights. And now you have guys who, listen, I'd say all the way down to Lonzo Ball and Pat Will, that can absolutely get the ball out, get the ball rolling, and keep it moving. Right now, he's 32 years old. A lot of people think the age on that is going to be an issue. I love how AK's done this. You got the veterans in there. You've got veteran experience. You've got Eastern Conference Finals experience. Now that he went in the Eastern Conference, no. But you've got Eastern Conference Finals experience, and that takes you a long way. Terrence, shout out to my boy Terrence, says DeMar is key. He can do whatever we need him to do. He can close when Zach is having a bad night. And I'll say this: listen, he's not gonna be one of those guys who comes out and consistently is going to have the ball in his hands to facilitate. But DeMar DeRozan absolutely can step in and move that ball around if Lonzo Ball needs a breather. If Ayo Dosunmu, we find out, is not ready to take on that mantle coming off of the bench, DeMar is absolutely that guy. DeMar absolutely is that guy. The Surge says Lonzo's not averaging 20, 10, and 10. I listen. I would ask you, why not? Why not? What's the hardest part about that stat line that you just said that you can't see Lonzo getting, especially in an offense that's up tempo? That's the thing you got to understand. They're going to get more shots up. They're going to be taking shots earlier in the shot clock. I absolutely think that 20, 10, and 10 is doable. I absolutely think that 20, 10, and 10 is doable. Now, is it going to happen? That's on the player to make it happen. But what with more shots, with him being a better offensive player all around, what don't you see him being able to achieve? I'll tell you this: the rebounds and the assists should be the easy thing for him. So now it's a matter of, can he score 20 points a night? Is there enough basketballs to go around? I would say the only thing that keeps him from scoring 20 points a night is that he's doing more of a job trying to facilitate it to the rest of the players. Let's get on to the next player because DeMar DeRozan absolutely is key. But I'm going to be honest with you. This is a guy that makes or breaks the Bulls season this year. And I'll tell you why, especially when we're talking about getting towards playoff time. We have to see development right now. I'm talking about 6'7", 20-year-old Patrick Williams. 6'7", 20-year-old Patrick Williams. And I'll tell you this. Last season, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist a game. Came out and showed that he was a really good defender. I think didn't have the weight to stand in front of a lot of the people he was being asked to defend, but came out and showed that he was a really good defender. To me, Patrick Williams is one of those guys that is going to change how the Bulls are able to move through the season, is going to be a complete key. If we're talking about a lot of people were talking about the Bulls being a 50-win team, he's the key. He's the key. Because when you're talking about night in, night out, who's guarding Bron, who's guarding Kawhi, who's guarding Giannis, his improvement this season is going to tell us how well the Bulls are going to do. They're going to be able to score. They're going to be a better defensive team just because Lonzo's in there, and I think Zach LaVine's doing a lot more with his defense. But we're talking about Patrick Williams is that guy that you go from, hey, can we beat the Bucks in a 7-game series to, if he takes that leap defensively, I'm not even talking about on the offensive end. Because I think you have so much scoring right now that you're not as worried about the offensive end. I'm talking about defensively. If he takes that leap defensively into the next level, you're talking about a guy that turns the tide for you night in and night out. We've talked about him becoming Kawhi Leonard. We've talked about him being a Kawhi Leonard type player. Kawhi Leonard, his second season was about defense. He wasn't the offensive juggernaut that he's turned into today. He wasn't the guy that can go out and put up 40 a night. You know what I'm saying? He was defense. And if Patrick Williams can take that step defensively this season, the Chicago Bulls are probably, I would go out on a limb and say they're going to be better than even I have put my expectations on. And I try to have realistic expectations with it, but you get excited. Here's a good comment here. 12 Gauge says, Patrick Williams is my favorite player. I'm afraid that putting him at the 4 could ruin his game. I would disagree with you. One, because basketball is positionless in 2021. These guys are coming in. You've got, I mean, honestly, let's be real. What did we see versus Cleveland in the preseason? Javonte Green was playing Larry Markkinen. Javonte Green's a 2 at best. Javonte Green is a 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in the age of positionless basketball. I don't think this hurts P. Will at all. And P. Will played a lot of power forward in college as well. So I don't think this hurts his game at all. If anything, I really think that he's going to be able to take the mantle. And if we're talking about offensively, he's going to have the advantage offensively. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have the advantage standing across from a lot of these guys because there's a lot more of those traditional 4s that are supposed to be undersized centers basically in this league. Now, do they do more? Are they more like a Marko Simonovic kind of build? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they can kind of stay with you. But if P. Will has the handles up, if he's got the drive up, if he's doing everything he can to get to that bucket, they're going to have a tough time staying with this kid, man. They're going to have a tough time staying with this hit. Yeah, exactly, dog. Exactly. He's 6'4". Javonte Green is 6'4". He was guarding Larry Markkinen most of that game, a 7-footer. It also tells you how weak Larry was. But you know what I'm saying? Let's get on. Let's get on to who's our next one? Oh, I'm gonna save Zach for last on the starting lineup because best player for last. Best player for last. Right now, let's talk about Nikola Vucevic. I don't think Chicago understands what they have in this guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Chicago understands what they have with this guy. We're talking about 23 points a night for a career average. I'm talking about 23 points a night, 11.7 rebounds a game, almost 12 rebounds a game, and 3 to 4 assists per game, right? Y'all understand that's a top 5 center in today's NBA. Y'all understand that we not only have Zach LaVine, who's a top 5 shooting guard. We have Nikola Vucevic, who is a top 5 center. And then we have Lonzo Ball, who I believe will, in this season, become a top 10 point guard. Y'all understand that we got a whip, right? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page because Vooch right now, Vooch fits so perfectly with this, with what the Bulls are doing. Because if he was a in the paint, I got to be down here, I got to be doing post moves, I got like it doesn't fit. If he was a Steven Adams, and I think Steven Adams would fit with this team because he runs the floor well. But if he offensively was that kind of guy, it wouldn't fit because he would clog up how DeMar's going to get to the bucket, how Zach's going to get to the bucket, how Lonzo's going to facilitate things. But the fact that Vooch can pop out, and knock down the 3 ball at a high clip, the fact that he's got the mid-range game, the fact that he's got the finesse around the bucket, dog, I don't think y'all understand what we have right now in Nikola Vucevic. This man is a walking double-double. This is why I'm saying give Acme their flowers now. They have not only built you a whip for right now, but we have a whip coming in the future. Now, it's all based on how quickly these guys develop. It's all based on how quickly these guys develop. And I'm going to tell you right now, first 6 games are going to look great. Let's not get overhyped by the first 6 games. Let's judge them after that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see some of the comments we got in here. James says, Lonzo will not have the ball in his hands as much as people think. LaVine is still playing some point. I think you wanted to go there. I think this is about to be the Pelicans experience all over again. I absolutely don't, because I've watched how Billy Donovan deals with point guards. I've watched how Billy Donovan sends his guys out there. The point guard has the ball in his hand a lot of the time. Listen, when it was Chris Paul, when it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the biggest plays of that playoffs with Chris Paul, that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is throwing the ball in. Billy trusts his point guards. I absolutely think that Lonzo Ball is going to have the ball in his hand quite a bit. Let's move on, man, because Vooch, man, I'm telling y'all, top 5 center in the league. Just let that sink in, dog. There's not even nothing. That's how crazy. Like, I don't have to. You know what's cool about this? Like, I feel like last year's video, I was explaining like why guys had the potential to be good. I was explaining why guys could come in and be good. And this, like, I'm just coming in and I'm just like, listen, this mug is good. He's gonna be good. He can play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. Let's get into now. We're at the man, the myth, the legend right here. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Chicago. Let's talk about this, Chicago. I want y'all to understand this. 27.4 points a game for his career right now. 5 rebounds a game, 4 assists. Shot at just about 50% last season. Let me give you hold on. Because I think it's got it on here. This is the splits. I thought I had the regular. This is actually the splits, which is not bad. Not bad to have. I like having it. But man, let's talk about Zach LaVine. Man, we getting some bold predictions in here. Let's talk about Zach LaVine. I want y'all to understand, like, go look at the players that played at the Olympics, right? And then look what they did when they came back. Look what they did when they came back. Look how they're not only scoring, but their basketball IQ improved playing with the best players in the NBA. And he was already a top 5 shooting guard. My prediction for Zach LaVine this season, evaluating what his game is going to be. Zach LaVine is not only going to be an MVP candidate. Zach LaVine is not only going to be an MVP candidate. I don't know if he'll win it, but I think that he will have an MVP-like season. But the fact that he's on the Chicago Bulls one of the iconic franchises. We're going to see his ascendance in the league put him as not only one of the top 2 shooting guards in the Eastern Conference, but the best shooting guard in the Eastern Conference this season. And I already said Zach LaVine's top 2 and he ain't 2. But I absolutely think that when you look at what this guy does, he's improved every single season. He's improved his game every single season. If he becomes the two-way type of player that we're seeing him try to become, I absolutely think you're going to see Zach LaVine average upwards of 30 to 33 points a game. I absolutely think you're going to see Zach, the turnover numbers are going to come down because he's not going to be handling the ball as much. And I absolutely think we're going to see Zach be one of the better young defenders in the league, especially with this team, because I think this team's system defense just makes everybody around it better. And that's where Pat Will comes in. That's where Lonzo Ball comes in. That's where, you know what I'm saying? I absolutely think that you're talking about an MVP season for Zach LaVine this season. And we're talking about him becoming, dare I say, the second, dare I say, the third best Chicago Bull we've seen in this franchise. You got Jordan, you got Pippen, and right now, to me, at a star level, I'm talking about. Now, I know we didn't see it for a long time, but what Derrick Rose was to me makes him the third best Bull right now. Zach LaVine, if he gets to the point where he is a MVP candidate, where he can win an MVP, you're talking about him as the third best Chicago Bull. With everything he's gone to, with the continued success, I absolutely don't think that's a hot take. I absolutely don't think that's a hot take. It's a lot of people that's gonna dislike the video on that, but if you with me on that, like the video, man. Subscribe to the page. I love that. I love that. I really believe that. I mean, he's already the second best shooting guard we've had on the team. Jimmy Butler is a great shooting guard, but I don't think that he was the guy he was at Miami when he was with us. Great. He was great. He's probably a top 10 Bull. But I absolutely think that Zach LaVine this season, having an MVP type of season, can be a top 5, top 3 Chicago Bull. It's going to be some people in here that disagree with me. It's absolutely going to be some people in here that disagree with me. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Hey, yo, let's get in. Now, here's the crazy part, dog, right? Here's the crazy part. So I just mentioned all these people. I just ran down this whole list of mugs, right? We're not even to the bench yet. We haven't even gotten to the bench yet. Let's get into this bench. Because this season, we're talking about a bench that absolutely could be the bench mob yet again. Could be the bench mob yet again. This is a great one. This is a great one right here. This is a great one right here. This is a great one right here. What about Rodman? Rodman did a lot of the stuff he did outside of the Bulls. That's the only reason. Rodman's top 5 for me is my favorite Chicago Bull. I'm not going to lie to you. He's my favorite. I got the jersey upstairs right now. Absolutely. Rodman is top 5. But yeah, here's a good list right here. Michael, Rose, Pippen, Armstrong, Sloan. You know what I'm saying? There's some guys that spent a lot of their career with the Bulls and did a lot of their statistics with the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why, like, Rodman is a top 10 Bull for me all time for sure. But a lot of what Rodman did wasn't with the Bulls. Most of it was with Detroit. So let's get into this Bulls bench, man. Let's get into this Bulls bench. Coby White. Let's start it off. Coby White will be the one player on this team, and this is my opinion, that can challenge Lonzo Ball for most improved player. And the reason I say that is with Coby White so far in his career, 15 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game. He's never had the opportunity to be just the scorer. He's had to be the point guard. He's had to be the guy that comes out and handles the ball. And it just doesn't fit his role to me. You know what I'm saying? He looked uncomfortable in that role. He didn't look. I think this is the season that Coby White gets the opportunity to be comfortable in his role. I think that this is the season. I'm not saying crazy. I'm not saying that he's going to come out. He's going to have 25 points a game. But I absolutely think he ups his scoring. I think with Ayo Dosunmu running the bench, or even Alex Caruso, he's going to have more opportunities to score based on how. I mean, Coby had to be the number 2 scorer on the team, right? It was Zach and Coby, the sweet life. Now Coby doesn't even have to be the number 2 scorer on the bench. I think that pressure being lifted off his shoulders, he doesn't have to be the point guard of the Bulls' future. He can just go out there and play free. He can go out there and just get hot off of the bench. He can be the Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. I think I can see Coby upping his points per game to about 18 to 20 points a game. 18 probably more so, just because he's not going to have as much time to be out on the floor. But I think that I could absolutely see Coby White getting his scoring up to about 18, because I think he's going to come out shooting. He's going to come out and he's going to fire that thing up, because that's what Billy's going to ask him to do. He's going to ask him to be a 2. And so I really think that I said this, Chicago, because we know Chicago, listen, we love the Derrick Rose Bulls, but let's be honest, we love the bench mob. We loved the bench mob. We loved that no matter who was on that bench, they were going to come in and they were going to be prepared to take over and get some buckets. They were going to come in and be prepared to get in, and I think that we're going to have that again. You're going to have it with Coby White. You're going to have it with Ayo Dosunmu. So I think that Coby coming in, absolutely being able to just go out there and score the ball, I think Chicago is going to fall with Coby White 100% for the first time. I really do. I really do. Let's see some of the comments. Baki said, Coby is on the same clock that Wendell, Lowry, Denzel, etc. was on last year. This is his evaluation year. Acme wants to see what they have. Absolutely. Absolutely. 110%. You are correct. This is Coby White's year to prove that he can be something more. And at least, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Off of the bench, scoring is absolutely a thing that Lou Will and those guys have made a key asset. Could I see Coby White being that? I think we saw Coby White being that a couple years ago. Well, last year anyway. Last year, kind of towards the end of the year. I don't know if I can say. I mean, he just got drafted a couple years ago, so. But yeah, really think we're going to see some nice things from Coby this season. Let's take a look at next off of the bench. And here's my guy, man. Here's my guy. I don't think he's going to have as much impact early, right? I think he's going to have to work his way into that. But Ayo Dosunmu is going to be somebody who the Bulls are able to put out there for extended periods of time late in the season. Late in the season when it's going to matter most. And they're going to be able to give the Bulls that needed rest at the point guard position. I think that he takes over that point guard. A lot of people have said the Caruso, what we call him here, the Red Sea. Rookie season for me, prediction for Ayo's numbers. I think we see Ayo average about 10 points a game. You know what? Let me walk that back a little bit. I'll say 7, because I don't think he's going to get as much tick early. I think he'll have, later on, we'll see months. We'll see months where he starts to play more later in the season. I think he'll average about 7 to 8 points a game. I think he'll average about 4 rebounds, and he'll average about 4 assists. in his starting season. And he's going to be that bench point guard that at the end of the year, the Bulls are absolutely going to be looking to say, hey, you're the guy that goes out there and gives Lonzo the rest. We need you to continue to get it done for us. We absolutely need you to continue to get it done for us. I think he's going to be that guy for the Bulls moving forward. And what I love about this, like y'all see this, right? Like I've been saying this, but do y'all see it? Y'all see that like we've got the 19-year-old whip and we've got the 25 to 30-year-old whip. Yeah, I mean, you've got the 19-year-old whip with the 25 to 30-year-old whip. So you're winning now and you're winning in the future. I love it. I love it. I love it. Here's an interesting guy for me, right? Let's go to Matt Thomas, man. Let's go to Matt Thomas. Interesting guy for me because not he did a lot in Toronto. I had to go back and actually look at my man's did a lot of spraying in Toronto end of the year last year. Stats don't look crazy. Stats don't look crazy. But when you're talking about needing that scoring to continue, when you got to get Zach and those guys out of there, this is the perfect guy to have. Matt Thomas is the perfect guy to have because I don't need nothing from you. Matt Thomas, you know what I need? Kyle Korver. That's all I need. End of career Ray Allen. That's all I need. I don't need you to be great defensively. I need you to come in and score. And I don't even think he's going to be a guy that's going to get a ton of tick this season. I really don't. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a 10 to 15 minutes a night guy. I think he's literally going to be a guy that gives you that bench depth if you lose something. And when he gets his opportunity to shine, and we've seen him get his opportunity to shine, we know he can spark that thing up. We know he can spark that thing up. And this is a good one here. I like this comment by Debo. He's up and down a lot. I agree. But you know what he is? Is it on? It's not on. Get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that guy. Is he hitting it tonight? Did he pull up from half court and knock that down like it was effortless? He didn't? Get him out of there. That's exactly what Matt Thomas is to me, but I like the depth move by Matt Thomas. And I think that, listen, he's got one job. Go out there and spray. Go out there and spray. I don't need you to do nothing. I don't need you to be extra. I don't want to see you playing defense. Go out there and spray. If he's not spraying that night, hey, this is a good, exactly, bro. Exactly. This is all I need. 5 minutes in the third. Give me 5 to 6 minutes a game. What are you doing those 5 to 6 minutes? He went out there and sprayed. That's all I need him to do. I don't want to see him all night. You know, if we're seeing him all night, we've got some injury issues. We're in the wrong spot. Here's a guy. Now let's get to a couple of guys that I really think make this bench what it is here. That I really think take this bench to the next level. Let's start here with the fact that this guy's going to the bench because Pat Will came back. And I'm talking about Javonte Green. Javonte Green is one of those guys that is going to be the glue for the Bulls bench this season. He's the one that when Lonzo and P. Will are off the floor, keeps the defensive intensity high. They've got him listed here at 6'5". Are y'all buying that he's 6'5"? I am not buying in the slightest that he is 6'5". I'm not buying in the slightest that he's 6'5". I would be interested to see his actual height, but I think that he's one of those guys that, listen, you bring him in, he's going to keep that energy high. He's going to keep that defensive intensity high, and he's going to be one of those guys that can come out and say, hey, I'm not only going to keep the intensity high, I can change the tide of the game coming off of the bench. He's the piece that you can put out there with the starting lineup. He's the piece that you can put out there with the starting lineup if their intensity is low defensively. You know what, Zach? We're not liking what we're seeing defensively. Let's throw Javonte Green out there at the 2. Now you've got Lonzo, Javonte, and P. Will on the court. Or you swap out DeMar DeRozan. Now you've got Lonzo, Zach LaVine, Javonte Green, P. Will. We're talking about playing the passing lanes every single night. We're talking about a player that is going to give you that extra mile. And y'all saw a lot last season. I didn't know who that guy was. Here's Don. Here's Don. Hey, good Don. You had to put the super chat up, man. Hey, Don. We ready for you. We ready for you, my boy. You're talking about a guy who is going to continue to give it 110% because of where he came from. Undrafted guy, only been in the league a couple years, fighting for a spot. He's got a spot. And I think he's going to have heavy rotation in Billy's system. I absolutely think he's going to have a heavy rotation in Billy's system. 10 in the chat. What's good, my boy? And I see a lot of people talking about we're deep. Don't think about how deep we are just with players. Think about how deep we are defensively. Every dude I've talked about, minus Coby White, defensively is going to be a problem. And by the way, hey, let's get into the next player because this is the guy that absolutely competes for a 6th man of the year spot if the Chicago Bulls are in a winning position consistently. Let's talk about the Red Sea. Come on, bro. 6.4 points a game, 2.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists. Hasn't had crazy amounts of opportunity to have extended moments on the court. We're talking about a jump in numbers. Last year he played he had 13 points a game or 13 minutes a game? 13 minutes a game last season. He's going to play 20 to 22 minutes a game. He's going to be in a position where he's on the court a lot, where he's getting a lot put on his shoulders, where we getting to Alize, where he's getting a lot of tick and a lot of opportunity to show what he can do, not only offensively, but defensively. Another guy defensively who can come out and absolutely turn the tide for you off the bench. Another guy who you can pluck off of the bench and say, hey, look, we got a lot. Maybe the game's not going how we want. Maybe defensively, we got to get back into this. We got to sit down on these guys on the other end. Throw Caruso in there. To me, Alex Caruso, if I'm looking at an outlook for his season this year, I see nothing like, I'm not going to say he's going to be 15 points a game. I think he's another guy 10 to 12 points a game. But what he's going to do defensively absolutely is going to put him in the category for the 6th man of the year. He's going to have the opportunity to show that he can be one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He was already one of the better two-way players in LA, which is why LA was so upset that they lost him. And now he's going to get more than 13 minutes a game. Now he's going to get that tick up. Like I'm saying, 22 minutes per game, y'all, he played in the preseason. 22 minutes per game he played in the preseason. Oh, and with that time, what'd he do? He got that scoring up to 9 points a game. He shot it 50% from the field. He shot it 40% from 3. He was averaging 2.5 3-pointers a game. He made about one of them. And 5.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, only 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 0.3 blocks. Dog. This Bulls bench is going to be ridiculous. Dare I say, we may have not only the return of the bench mob, but the next level of bench mob. The next level of bench mob when we're talking about what the Bulls have coming into this week. Dog, I'm so excited that basketball is back tomorrow, man. I am so excited that basketball is back tomorrow. And by the way, there's still a lot of players left, dog. I'm gonna start blowing through these mugs real quick because I don't want to be on here. And plus, we got the fantasy live tonight, so tune in with that, man. If your fantasy football is kind of going like mine is going, tune in, man. They give good help. They give good tips. Alize Johnson. Now, a lot of people want to come out and say that Alize is is Dennis Rodman reincarnated, dog. Let's roll it back a little bit. Let's roll it back just a little bit. Can he be Dennis Rodman reincarnated? We're talking about a 6'8" guy coming off of the bench, basically a forward who's playing the center position a lot. There's not. I'm not gonna give you the Dennis Rodman mantle yet. But do I think that he can be a Draymond Green? Do I think that he can be one of those guys that comes in and absolutely the undersized guy that is able to get his game to the next level with time? I do. I think that he's going to be able to come out. And then Levante said, "No, push forward. Nah, nah, nah. Roll that back. Roll that back." Dennis is a lot. That's a Hall of Famer. Let's go. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Al Horford. Can he be Al Horford? Can he develop into something like that? Like, let's roll it back a little bit. Throw some names at me. The interesting thing that I think that you have with Alize Johnson is again another people that is able to another person that is able to come in and give you that lockdown, can step into the starting lineup at any time. Only 5 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, which is crazy at 6'8". He's down there playing absolutely bigger than he's supposed to be playing. This is a good way to put it. Not Rodman, but Rodman-esque. Defensively, he stands down there and he says, "You're gonna have to come at me." Now, we saw a couple of things in preseason that he might have to work on. You know what I'm saying? We saw a couple of things in preseason where he might have to come out. Hold on now. This is even disrespectful here. Don Burr said he probably like a Greg Oden. Come on, Don. We're not out here wishing injury on people, man. We're not out here wishing injury on people, man. Shout out to Matty Matt telling him to get the likes up. I don't even know what the likes are right now. The interesting thing with Alize Johnson is when you're looking at what he can do defensively, what he can do on the rebounding tip, that's something that you're going to need off the bench because he is the center for this team, essentially outside of Marko Simonovic coming off of the bench. He's the guy that is going to be able to come out and get you the rebounds, get you the second chance buckets, get you. His hustle is going to be key. His hustle is absolutely going to be key. Don Bird, hold up. Don, what you say? He said injury hell, the play. Uh, Go look at Greg Oden and Brandon Roy together when they were on the court. If you're actually talking about how they played, I would ask you to educate yourself on that. I love when Don comes in here, man, because I can just go at him. I can go at him. There you go, Eddie Curry. That's not. If you're gonna take a jab, dog. Come on now. But he's one of those players that you can see. Hey, look, we're not losing the intensity we had on the starting lineup. And that's what you got to do. We're not losing the intensity we had on the starting lineup inside. If anything, you're getting more of it because we know, listen, Vooch is going to go up there. He's going to get those boards, but Vooch is more of a defensive rebounder. He's not getting a ton of offensive rebounds night in and night out. Alize Johnson is somebody who absolutely is going to fight for the offensive board, going to steal that board, going to be able to keep those plays alive, giving the bench the second chance opportunities. Here's a good one. I'm not mad at that. A young Tristan Thompson. I'm not mad at that. Tristan Thompson prepaid. Prepaid Tristan Thompson. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at that comparison. Are we title contenders with this lineup plus the bench? Listen, it's not about who you play; it's about when you play them. It depends on what Brooklyn is. That's what I'll say. It depends on what Brooklyn is. If Brooklyn's healthy, no. You know why? Because that's the best team in the NBA if they're healthy. Can they be healthy? I don't think they can. I don't believe they will be healthy. But I'm not wishing injury on anybody. I'm going off of what I see. I'm going off of what I see. What we're getting into here, we got a Troy Brown Jr., another nice pickup by AK in the offseason. Another guy that came out and kind of, showed you a little bit of prowess defensively, showed you a little bit of game defensively. This season, we saw him trying to spark it up a little bit from the three-point line. If he can keep that three-point shot consistent, I can see an uptick in his production. I can see him being one of the first players off of the bench. Absolutely. I can see him playing that 3-4 spot coming off of the bench. You know what I mean? He's one of those players that hasn't only been in the league 3 years, hasn't had the opportunity to take that next step, hasn't had the time in the game to take that next step, basically wasn't used in Washington at all. Basically wasn't used in Washington at all. And so I think that he's one of those guys that can come out, and this is his opportunity to show it. He's 22 years old. I think it's a great pickup. I think he's one of those guys that if you develop him outright in the long run can absolutely be a starter in this NBA. And I like what we've got in him. I think he's a solid fill out the bench piece. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too high, nothing too low on him. He's one of those guys that can come out, and I'll say this. Right now, I wouldn't be fearful if you're trying to get P. Will some rest, if you're trying to get, some of those other guys some rest. Oh, that's a good one right there. If we talk about Alize Johnson. Kenneth Faried is a good one. That's a good one if we're talking about Alize Johnson. If it like I don't think it's too far-fetched to say with Troy Brown Jr. that if you're trying to get P. Will some rest, if you're trying to get Caruso some rest, and you want to throw somebody in there to guard the best defender on the other team, Troy Brown can be that guy for you. Troy Brown absolutely can be that guy for you. Now, here's possibly your backup center, which I know a lot of people aren't happy with. Talking about Tony Bradley here. Tony Bradley, 7 points a game, 5 rebounds a game. Not bad to me. He's somebody that can come out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's bigger than y'all would think. You know what I'm saying? Still like 250 pounds. Still like 250 pounds. And he's one of those guys, another guy who, and the Bulls are kind of finding these guys who didn't get a lot of time to be in there. He's the guy that's probably going to come out and actually take a lot of that time at the backup center. You're probably going to see a lot of Alize Johnson at the 4 coming off of the bench. And so to me, this is the guy that helps everything with what you're trying to do inside when your bench comes in. Helps you. And look, you're not just going to come in here and run us over inside. You're not going to come in here and be getting the easy layups. He's the shot blocker you're looking for. He's the one that you're looking for to turn these guys away. Him and Alize Johnson down there have to form a good bond. Have to keep this team while the starters are out focused defensively. And I think that he's a good piece for that. I'm not looking for him to come out and have 15, 20 points a game. I am looking for these guys off of the bench to hold down. There's enough scorers on this team, even on the bench, that inside, I don't need Alize Johnson to have 10 points a game. I don't need Tony Bradley to have 10 points a game. I need them to do exactly what they've been doing. Give me a lot of rebounds, defend the inside of the paint, make things tough on a lot of these teams that are trying to drive in. Make things tough on these teams trying to drive in. Getting down to the nitty-gritty here with some of these last few players, man. If y'all ain't liked the video yet, man, please let me know. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. And here's an interesting guy that I think a lot of people are gonna be surprised with when he gets the opportunity to get in the game. Marko Seminovic. Marco's gonna be a guy that probably in the beginning, probably in this first season, you won't see crazy amounts of time from, if not barring injury. He's going to be a guy, though, that I think that just based on kind of how I saw once he was healthy, kind of how Billy was trying to work him in there, you know what I'm saying? And just trying to get him acclimated to the NBA game. But When I look at Marco's game, I see a guy that can handle the ball, can play with his back to the basket. Is he banging anybody out of the way? No, but that turnaround jumper is nice. Can pull it up from the 3 line, can bring the ball up the court. I see a Nikola Jokic type player, not at that level. Don't everybody come out and be like, he called him Jokic. Oh my God. I see a Nikola Jokic type player, though. I see a guy that absolutely can bring the ball up, can facilitate the ball. And if you go back and watch what he did overseas, that's all he did. He had the ball in his hand a lot. He was able to drive. He's able to go from the top of the key and blow past most big men in the league. Do I think that he's going to do it early? I don't know if he works his way into the rotation early because Billy's probably got his rotation already set. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he's going to find his way into the league. I think he's going to find his game with this team this season. I think that at some point we're going to see him out there. Maybe not in a long stretch, maybe not in a 15 minutes a night kind of guy, unless barring injury. But I think that you're going to see him out there, and you're going to see him be able to put on a show versus most of the guy he's going up against. He's 6'11", y'all, and he handles the ball like a point guard. He's 6'11", and he handles the ball like a point. Now he's a little undersized, 220 pounds, not enough weight. Can't go down there and bang with most of these guys. Can't bang with most of the forwards in the league at this point. But he's a finesse player. I think we got to come into we're so used to seeing, hey, we need the formula that won us this. We need the back to the basket. We need to we're watching 2021 basketball on the Chicago Bulls finally. I'm excited for that. And I think that Marco's going to be a guy that for years to come is absolutely going to be a part of the Bulls. And he's going to have that kind of game. He needs lessons from see this right here. This is the comment right here. This is what I see. This is all I see. He's not a big. He's 6'11". Supposed to have his back to the basket. That's not him. And it won't be him. You know what I'm saying? And it won't be him. He's going to be a finesse guy. Getting down to these last couple guys, man. Unfortunately, I don't know if Devon Dotson fits in with what Billy wants to do. We didn't see him crazy amounts in preseason. We didn't see him crazy. They kind of worked him in. He might get a little bit of tick while Coby White's out, but I think that Devon Dotson is going to be one of those guys that's just kind of on the bench. You hate to see it because he's from here. Yeah, I'm saying he's an Illinois kid. He grew up here, gets picked up by his hometown team. Great story. I just don't think that Billy Donovan is going to see him as a fit. A lot of times, I think Devon Dotson could actually end up as a trade piece, and I think he's got game. I think offensively, he absolutely has game. I think offensively, he can come out and score, but I just don't see him fitting with what Billy wants to do here long term. And so I don't see a lot of tick for Devon Dotson. But when he's on the court, look for him to score. If he gets on the court, look for him to score. Debo says, I've never seen him. You talk about Marco. I've never seen him handle the rock like a PG. He's not caught up to the NBA yet, man. You got to go back and look at what he was doing out in Montenegro, bro. You got to go back and look at what he was doing out there in Montenegro, bro. That man was taking the ball at the top of the key, getting busy, pulling up from three, whatever you wanted. Wherever you want it, however you need it. That's how he was getting the job done. I'm not mad at Marko Simonovic at all. And then we're coming down to last but not least, man. Last but not least, the Chicago Bulls, Sea Red Nation, man. Tyler Cook. Another guy that I don't see him getting a lot of tick. Yeah, I don't see him getting a lot of tick. I don't see him getting a lot of time on the court. If it's a blowout, we'll probably see him a lot. He only averaged about 5 points a game in preseason, or five assists, 5 minutes a game in preseason. So I don't see him doing a lot for us either. I just think that he's going to be, a nice depth piece, a nice finish out the roster piece. He's 6'8", he's 255 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot that his game probably has to it, but at this point, just going into what we see with Billy, I don't see him being a big piece for us moving forward. And those are your 2021-2022 Chicago Bulls. Now, if I'm going to give a record prediction now to finish this thing off, hey, boss man, no moment of silence. We're speaking clean through that moment. Debo, I give Debo credit. Debo has not been on him since I put out the Marco picture. He don't like to pick it off. So I give Debo credit on that one. He's consistently been on the this dude ain't it. If I was gonna pick a record for what I think the Bulls can do this season, I personally don't think they'll win 50 games. A lot of people are putting them in that 50 to 54 range win team. I don't personally think that. I think that the Bulls are going to be a 46 to 48 win team. And the reason I say that is because I think a lot of people are overlooking how long it takes to gel as an NBA team. I think a lot of people are overlooking how long it's going to take to gel as a unit. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about a unit that absolutely can go far. The first 6 games for you are a cakewalk. Not a cakewalk, but a kind of a cakewalk. We got Detroit twice. So it's pretty much you're not playing another team. Let me pull up the schedule here. I should have had this pulled up already. Professionalism. Now, here we go. You got the Pistons twice. You got the Pelicans. Pelicans still dealing with some injury down there. You got the Raptors, who are going through a rebuild. You got the Knicks, who, okay, that might be a tough team that you're playing defensively, but I just think the Bulls are better than them. And then you got the Utah Jazz. So I think the Bulls absolutely could go 5-1 in their first 5 games. I think the Bulls absolutely could go 5-1 in their first 5 games. Or first 6 games, I'm sorry. But then after that, to me, and Kid said he doesn't view this as tough. To me, this is where your schedule gets tough, and it's early. Celtics, 76ers twice, Nets, Mavericks, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Blazers, Nuggets. Then you got the Knicks again. Pacers, and then the Rockets. Then it kind of comes into a more easy schedule to go to, but you've got a tough stretch early on. And I'm not saying that I don't think that this team is going to win some of those games. I'm not saying that I don't think that this team is going to come out, but to win 50 games, you have to start the season hot. To win those 50 games, you're probably going to have to come out and you're going to have a great first month of the season. And I just don't. I'm trying to be realistic with how long it takes things to gel. I mean, listen, we were talking about Bron and D Wade not gelling well into the season. You know what I'm saying? It takes time for that. It takes time for that. What did he say? Debo said, if they don't win 50, I'm super chatting you 200. If they do, you have me on as a call-in guest during a playoff game. Debo, we'll do that. We'll absolutely do that. We'll absolutely do that. Somebody save this. Somebody say this. We'll absolutely do that. But no, and it's not to say that I don't think the Bulls aren't going to go out and win. It's not to say I don't think that the Bulls are going to be able to compete in those games. To me, it's just a lot of back-to-back smacks in the mouth early, and it's about how you're able to rebound from those. And we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see. Pat, Torian, just some quick cleaning up in the chat here before we get out of here. Torian says, Pat, what's your thoughts on Ben Simmons' suspension? Ben don't want to be in Philly because he know if he come out on the court, Philly's going to boo him from day one, and that's going to destroy him. So he don't want to be there. He doesn't want to play for him. He said he don't want to play for him. Doc kind of said, listen, get your butt in gear and get back in there, or you're not going to get paid. I mean, he said he don't want to play for you. He showed back up because he knew the checks weren't coming. Okay. I don't think it changes what Philly does. If anything, it would only be an asset to Philly because as much as we hate on Ben Simmons defensively, he is a good defensive player. But to me, I was putting Philly as a top 5 team with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. I think Joel Embiid is that kind of good. The question is, can he be that kind of healthy? But I just think he's that kind of good. Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. If y'all haven't done so, please like the video, subscribe to the page, all that good stuff. See Red Nation, the season starts tomorrow. Hold up, what's going on here? Hold on, let me block some spammers out here. We're not doing the spam out here. The season starts tomorrow. Bulls live. You know we're going to be calling it tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Be here. Don Burst said he's going to the game. But Don, if you pull up in here, just know it's free smoke, free smoke. See Red Nation, we are back. We are better than ever. And my goodness, we got a whip. Ayo, Chicago. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Let's have some fun this season. Peace.